Right. We have Miss Scarlett Henson joining us today to talk about life with early college and beyond. Uh, Class of 2013. That's
Yeah,
crazy. That
it
is
is
crazy.
crazy. Yeah.
All right. So, why'd you decide to come to early college?
Why did I decide? Um, well, it's kind of a funny story that I like to tell people. I mean, it's funny to me, not that funny to other people, but I spent a lot of time in like a small private school when I was younger that just wasn't fitting for me. And so in middle school, I kind of took a leap of faith and went to public school and wanted to get to know more people. And it was really hard for me. I was in eighth grade and I had a lot of things going on at home too. And so I was struggling a little bit, but I was always a good student. And so just a couple of my grades were suffering because of what I was going through at the time. And I remember early college representatives came to St. James and they gathered which is where I was. They gathered us into a conference hall and talked to us about the opportunities. And I was just in this really weird place where I was like, I feel like I don't fit in at the school that I was at before. I don't feel like I fit in here. I didn't know where I was going. So it just seemed like this perfect opportunity for me to kind of hit the restart button on myself, figuratively, and go to a new place where, there's kids from all kinds of counties and different schools coming together. And that I'm so glad I made that decision because it really was perfect. Just being able to be there with people who, none of us really knew each other. So we all, got to know each other together and learn a lot about where everyone was from and everything. So that was what it was really was there was a big social aspect of it and just being able to fit in somewhere. Yeah.
Ooh, well, we're definitely glad you made the call
Yeah.
because you did very well at early college and
I,
beyond.
I really enjoyed it.
All right, so you go to Bridge Week, you start freshman year. Uh, you talk about making friendships. How does that kind of work freshman year, right? Because we're spread out, we're from all over the place. How does how do friendships even really start there, freshman year?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's funny. This is like, so today is my 30th birthday.
Happy birthday!
I hit the big 3-0. Um, and so I took the day off, and that's why I'm able to do this too. But it's just crazy having to think back to all of this stuff and like Bridge Week and everything. Bridge Week was fun, and getting to know everyone was fun. It was, I don't know what other classes are like, but I just feel like our class, the class of 2013, was so full of energy and so funny and just so open and welcoming to people that you know i I was easily able to make friends at my desks when I was in my first classes eating with people. It was so easy to make friends with people just like at the table because everyone was just so friendly. But I will say one of the biggest things, and this is totally not Bridge Week, but this is once classes started for me. um, the school bus was one of the places where I made my closest friends. And in the classes, just discussing homework and stuff, it just kind of happened authentically.
And to go back to this idea of the bus, did you stay in the St. James area? Like, was your residence the same?
Yeah.
So you
Hmm.
spent a lot of time on the bus
I did.
because
Yeah.
that's a trip and all the construction and everything over the years.
Yeah, it was early mornings and hopping from one bus. I think I was on a bus with like elementary students at one point. We'd go to elementary school and then I'd hop on another bus to go to school. But yeah, just hanging out with my friends that were also St. James. That was that was one of the ways that I made friends initially, and then through that kind of made mutual friends.
Gotcha. All right. So starting freshman year into sophomore year, we start taking you on college trips and the college tours.
Yeah.
What were your first impressions of going to places like USC and College of Charleston and the Citadel, Francis Mary, maybe?
Yeah.
What were your impressions?
I mean, I loved it. Um, at the time, of course, I was so young. I was just trying to picture myself here. What would I look like with a backpack walking over there? Is this the atmosphere that I want to be in? Um, Going to USC was a blast. And the Citadel and College of Charleston. Um, I think what ultimately made the decision for me was, just seeing the people at College of Charleston, which is where I went, and where I chose. Just it was overall a very exciting experience, but seeing the people and talking to people there and just seeing how happy everyone was, that was like really what stood out to me. When it comes to me, a lot of it comes down to the atmosphere and the social aspect of where you're going to be, because I really think that if there isn't a good social aspect somewhere where you can thrive mentally and emotionally, I don't think that you're able to, or for me personally, I'm not able to excel at my best, because, nobody wants to be in a bad environment where they don't feel like they fit in with like-minded individuals. So yeah, the experiences were awesome. And that was my biggest thing when I was there at those field trips, was just taking a look at, who's around.
Awesome. It's funny you bring that up. Actually, a couple of years ago, I was having a talk with one of our juniors. I think she was a junior at the time, maybe been a senior. And she had toured USC, and I was like, "Hey, did you like it?" And she was like, "No, I hated it." And I was like, "All right, so where are you
That's
going to
what I like.
going to college?" And she was like, "USC." What? Why would you choose to go someplace that would make you unhappy? She went to College of Charleston, toured there, loved it, and still went to USC. Uh, Mind blown. But
Yeah.
she's there with a lot of classmates from early college, so I
I mean,
assume.
I get it. I get it. The draw was there for me as well.
Right.
I almost went to USC. I almost went to Clemson. I had a scholarship to Coastal, but stubborn little me was like, no, College of Charleston.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. All right, so let's talk a little bit senior year, right? Because you were academically pretty strong.
Hmm.
Right? You're
Yeah.
definitely top five whole time you were there. One of the strongest students I've ever taught. Uh,
Yeah.
and so then senior year, what's the scholarship application process like?
Um, I don't recall it being too challenging. I remember a whole bunch of us sitting in gosh, I don't remember what her name was, but we were all sitting in this big room upstairs where we used to have our classes, and everyone was just having a blast filling out their applications. Everyone's trying to like type out their essays of like, why do you want to come here? What do you think you can bring here? What are some things you've accomplished in high school? And we're all just doing the same thing. For me, um, it wasn't a challenging process because I felt like I had a lot of support. And I think it comes down to support, especially when you're that young. Sorry, there's a plane going over. um, yeah, I feel like I had a lot of support from like my avid teachers and coaches, and even my peers, my classmates, because everyone's talking about, where are you going to go? Why are you going to go there? So yeah, that was my experience. I'm sure things are a little bit different now, but I I didn't really have too much of a problem applying for scholarships. A lot of them kind of followed similar structures too, and that made it easier to, you know, apply for multiple. Yeah, I it wasn't too bad of a process, but like I said, it comes down to the support you have throughout your years in high school.
All right, so you picked College of Charleston. You had pictured yourself there all those years before. You
And
decided to go to College of Charleston in the most beautiful city in South Carolina, maybe
yeah,
the country. Uh, what was your experience like in Charleston?
oh, I loved it. I loved it so much. Well, first and foremost, I will say I chose there over USC and Clemson. Clemson, it was really between Clemson and College of Charleston for me. Clemson had football, and everybody not everyone, but some people like the fun football